Good morning, from Northern Thailand at 5:45 a.m. Monday morning, the 18th of the year 2568 or 2025. Good morning to you. We have an absolutely beautiful morning coming up before sunrise. This is what's called the witching hour. And the witching hour is the time between dark and light, when the vampires and the witches are going back to their other dimensions. And it's a very special time. And it doesn't last that long if you think about it. Dusk and dawn are the shortest periods of the day, right? It's only dusk or dawn for a little bit of time because the earth is turning, spinning around the sun. Hey, thank you very much for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. I just waited for the opportunity, and that's right now, to cross the street because I like to see when the traffic's coming towards me. I don't like it sneaking up behind me. You know, just at least to give me the opportunity to try to evade if I have to. Anyway, this is Monday, the 18th of August in the year 2568 or the year 2025. And it is an absolutely beautiful morning, pre-dawn, which means it's the witching hour. So all the vampires and ghosts and spirits and all that stuff, they're just going back to the next dimension. And it's going to be the rest of the day. It's going to belong to the humans and the animals and stuff like that. But right now we're going to keeping our eyes peeled for any ghosts or spirits or vampires. We don't want to run into any vampires. So keeping our eyes peeled and enjoying the beautiful air, because all night long this air hasn't been fumigated by, cars and cigarettes and things like that and fires and whatever. So the air quality is like super good at this time in the morning. And the temperature is right too. You're not going to get overheated and you're not too cold. It's like the most perfect time of the day to do any kind of exercise if that is your thing. And that's my thing. So the sun is not up yet. See, the sun is over there. And it still hasn't broken the horizon here yet. But it's coming. You see the darkness over in the distance, right? So the earth has to turn, the sun has to make its way across the sky and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool if you think about it, even a little bit. So I'm always happy to see you guys here in the chat, here on the screen, joining me and giving me the confidence and motivation to continue on this walk and continue on. And I really appreciate all you people for checking it out. You know, you want to see another part of the world, and you're seeing another part of the world at a time when almost nobody sees this part of the world at this time because nobody's awake. Well, a lot of people are still sleeping, I should say. So here we have a cornfield. Someone's growing corn. This corn is for animals, I think. Although I see people selling corn. You know, it's not like indigenous to this region, that's for sure. But I know they grow a lot of corn for feeding animals other than humans, other than the human animal. You know? And you hear the birds going crazy right now too, right? They're telling all their brothers and sisters and siblings and parents, oh, the sun's coming up, it's time for bed, we better, or I don't know, maybe to look for food or something, go to bed or look for food, one or the other. I guess it depends what kind of bird you are. So anyway, I wanted to tell you guys something that happened yesterday. And one of the reasons why I've made a decision today, which affects my exercise regime. Regimen. Not regime, my exercise regimen. I'll tell you in a bit. So I pass this guy. He wants to pass on the outside. He wants me to pass on the inside. That's just fine. I certainly don't mind that. If I was him, I would want to pass on the inside because he's walking against the traffic, right? So the cars are going to be coming up from behind him. And I'd rather be on the inside if I was him. Arun Sawat. Oh my God. I just slipped in the mud. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he was walking on the outside. Anyway, fortunately I didn't wipe out totally. Just stressed out my ligaments and tendons in my knees and stuff like that, which is always a nice thing. Anyway, so I was gonna so yesterday I did my walk and everything like that. I was very excited about not excited. Excited is not the word. I don't get excited. Infants get excited, right? I was anticipating this matchup between Chimaev and Tortoises. I was anticipating this matchup, and so I was doing my exercise, I was talking about it and everything like that. And I was saying, 2.5 to 1. I think that Duplessis was if you're thinking about the math of things, that would be a good idea. A lot of people agreed with that I was looking at online and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what really bothered me about that fight. And the thing is this, is that, and it's not just that fight. It's not that matchup. Right? It always happens with the matchups they're supposed to be big matchups. And both fighters, one guy, he knows he's the underdog. And he comes out there and he has months to train. And he's supposed to be a the champion. And supposed to be practicing and stuff like that. And he's I'm getting ready and everything like that. And then when they come out, it looks like they're totally unprepared. They didn't practice. They didn't have any response for anything that was happening. And that just tells me that Arun Sawat Kabom. That just tells me that Duplessis, he didn't even prepare for the fight. I mean, he might have prepared for like exercise and boxing and stuff like that, but he didn't prepare for Chimaev. There's no way he prepared for Chimaev, and to be manhandled into that kind of a position every second of every round. You can't convince me of that. So, and you see this with other fights too. Now, it's not just this one. It's, these guys who are top tier athletes and stuff like that who are supposed to prepare for the style that they're going to be up against, and then they show that they didn't prepare at all. He couldn't have prepared at all. How do you prepare at all? Unless you're going to say Chimaev, his style is unbeatable. Then you can make the case for that what he's doing is just the unbeatable solution to all mixed martial arts. Which I don't believe. Somebody's going to beat him, right? I mean, he still has like 3-4 years at least to be in his prime. So is he going to be is he going to defend the title, more than once a year or something like that? I don't know. How do you look, Lung? Is he going to defend the title? I think he probably will. This clearly Duplessis was no match for him. It was not even close. I mean, and that's the thing I was thinking about when I was watching the Gilbert Burns-Chimaev fight. Like, he decided to stand up against Chimaev a little bit more. Or Chimaev decided to stand up against Burns a little bit more, stand and bang a little bit and stuff like that. And it didn't really end all that badly for Chimaev. It wasn't the great response that you wanted. It wasn't efficient. But I felt like, I heard some things about there's some sort of a backstory between Burns and Chimaev, and Burns' girlfriend and Chimaev and something like that. So I think that that was more of a statement fight. Because he could have done the same thing to Burns that he did to Duplessis. I'm very certain of that. So I think he was going. So mostly he was trying for efficiency, but I think Chimaev also fights for also to make statements and stuff like that. I'm going to make one statement. Wassalam alaikum. Hello from Poland. Skazaporuski. I speak a little bit. That's about all I speak. Minya Zavud Gabriel. That's about all I speak in Russian. But I know you speak Polish, which is a different language, and I don't know if I can say anything in Polish. But I can say good morning to you in a few languages. I'll just say Arun Sawat Sawadi Cup Sabadi Lupao. So I think that Chimaev fights to make statements. He is top level, obviously. He's probably obviously the best. So you know what he did? He's a Muslim, right? And Duplessis is a Christian, right? And this is well known. People don't really talk about it or anything like that. But he put Duplessis in what's known as the crucifix position. Every round he put Duplessis in the crucifixion. I mean, you have to kind of laugh at that in a way, that this guy, Chimaev, can just dominate so much. He just picks what position he's going to put you in, and I think that he did that to make a statement, and also to show that he's totally above and beyond, certainly Duplessis. I don't know who's going to come, who's capable of challenging Chimaev. Nobody knows that right now. But You know, I thought that was kind of an interesting like anomaly. I don't even think it was an anomaly. I think that Shmeev did that on purpose to put DDP in the crucifix position. I mean, there's got to be. I mean, it has to. You can't convince me of anything. I know that Shmeev did that shit on purpose. He put him in a crucifix, you know, because Duplessis is a devout Christian. Shmeev is a Muslim, devout Muslim, whatever, and Shmeev has a sense of humor and he's an elite athlete. So that's just what I think. Personally, I haven't heard nobody's told me that or anything like that. That's just a thought that came to my mind, you know. Or maybe I just have a sick, morbid sense of humor. I don't know. But anyway, today's Monday the 18th, August 18th at 6:01 a.m. in the year 2568 on the Buddhist calendar, and on the Gregorian calendar, 2025. And the Muslim calendar, Islam calendar, it's something like 14 something. I don't know exactly. But anyway, good morning to everybody. No matter where you are, we all share love and peace and happiness and a devotion to living on this planet, in this galaxy in the solar system, in the galaxy called the Milky Way by some people. So we all share residency on the same rock in this solar system. Here go the father and son pair that I see every morning, or not every morning. I've seen them often. Anyway, so that's basically my thoughts on that situation. You know, Arun Sawat. Good, thank you. So that's just random thoughts of the day. Oh, but then again, all right, so like I wanted to talk about another thing. You know, and this is like for me is like a motivational thing that happened to me yesterday. And that's, you know, I was walking, I was doing my thing, whatever, streaming. I see people, I say good morning to them and stuff like that. Some people know me. Some people, you know, we just get to meet each other at that moment or something like that. But there's a couple old ladies, right? And they sell food near where I live, where my wife lives, and stuff like that. And so I always say hello to them. You know, you want to make your presence known, especially if you're a foreigner walking around in a foreign land or something like that. You know, you don't want to be like stealth walking or anything like that. You say hello to people and stuff like that. Anyway, I say hello to them every morning. Anyway, later in the day, my wife and I are driving in the car. We'd just gone shopping at a place called Macro, right? And she stops to buy food at the place where there's old ladies that I say hello to in the morning, right? I say hello to every morning, right? And she introduced herself and stuff like that. And one of the ladies turns to her and says, "Oh, is that your husband?" Right? And my wife said, "Yes, that's my husband." And I said, which one do you mean? I have two Westerners living in the same property, right? And then she said, "Oh, the fat one." She said, "Oh, the fat one." And my wife said, "Oh, you mean the fat one? Oh, you mean the old guy?" And the lady says, "Oh, no, I mean the guy with the long hair." "Oh, yeah, that's my husband. Yeah, the fat one." You know? And my wife told me that. And, I'm not mad about that or anything like that. Certainly not. I'm not mad about that at all. But the thing is that like I'm not really like, I mean, at least I don't think that I'm really fat. I'm overweight, and I'm out here doing exercise, trying to lose weight and get down to the ideal weight, right? And I'm certainly, by Thai standards, by Thai skinny standards, I could never be as skinny as as some of these people. But I am a little overweight, obviously. I weigh about 230. Right now, I'm about 230 pounds, and I'm somewhere between 6'2" and 6'3", right? So I can carry my weight fairly well, you know. I'm certainly looking to get down to about 90 kilograms, 95 kilograms. That'd be about 190 pounds. You know, that's what I optimally want to get to, just for my health. You know, so that my heart beats better, my brain works better. You know, things work better. You know. Another thing, the reasons why I want to do it for my health, but I also want to do it for my wife, right? Because I'm so a couple, for my wife too, you know. I mean, she's got to lay in bed with me, right? She thinks she wants to lay in bed next to a 500-pound man. She only weighs about 100 pounds. I mean, oh my goodness. So I'm not, I do it for my wife too. I mean, I want my wife to have a partner. I want her to be happy, is what I'm trying to say. Now hold on a second. I gotta stop here for a second. Stop here for just 1 second. Oh, Run Swat Lung! Narak Chang Le! Oh! Let me stop here for a second and do something. Put that up right there. Okay, folks. All right, family. A little business transaction is done right there. Scott74, good morning to you. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, or night to you. Yes, we are out here. I was just conducting a little bit of a business transaction a la DDP. Anyway, so that's the thing is like, so that's what I was saying about like the lady like said, "Oh, is that your husband?" And my wife said, "Yes." The fat one, you know what I mean? Like, so like I was saying, I'm between 6'2", 6'3", like there is 6'2 and a half or something like that. And I weigh around 235 pounds at the moment. And I'm trying to get down to 95 kilo, which would be about 190 pounds to 195 pounds. That's where I want to be, just for my health and for really for my health and for my ability to think and stuff like that, because it helps and everything. You know, I've been athletic in periods of my life, and also I'm doing it for my wife, because I want my wife to have a man next to her who doesn't, you know, because I was at max, I was like 117 kilo, 118 kilo, and she only weighs like 50 kilo, 48 kilo. You know, so like, I was feeling bad for her. I mean, if I was like single and stuff like that, I really might not care. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal to me. You know, you know, I'm past the age of looking for a female partner, or any partner. That sounded funny for a second, but I'm past the age of looking for partners and stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, if I was like single, stuff like that, I might not really care. I don't know. I'm not single. I've been married for over 25 years. So, yeah. So that's why I do it, not just for myself, but for my wife, and also to present myself in public. You know, because, you know, like it or not, no matter what anybody says, and overweight people always feel the burden. You know, they'll always feel the burden of being judged by people and stuff like that. It's just, you know, unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, you know, that it could come down to that, you know, like feeling bad about yourself. But if you do feel bad about yourself, do something about it. You know what I mean? Become the change that you want to be. Like you know, years ago, I used to drink a lot. I even used to smoke. I don't smoke. I don't drink. You know, because I don't like that. You know, that's not good. Those things are bad for you. They're bad for your everything, finances, for your health. I'm trying to put a little extra mile length into this walk, so I'm gonna try and go down the next soy, because this walk normally takes me 55 minutes. But that lady yesterday saying that, you know, I was her fat husband, has only motivated me more, because I'm motivated more to put more effort into reaching the goals and being where I want to be. I don't feel bad about what the lady says. It doesn't, but it motivates me. You know, it makes me, you know, want to put in more effort, you know? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get to where I want to be, or where I need to be, or whatever, the best under God's graces, you know? Be the best that I can, the best me I can be. I'm trying, you know, and that's an every minute, every second of the day job. You know, which unfortunately we're all human and we all fall short. All of us fall short. There's nobody that doesn't fall short. But if you give up trying, if you don't try, that's when the problems really begin. You know. So let's try. Hey, all y'all in the chat here with me, you're all trying. You have an interest in this and stuff like that, and hopefully that will ignite, if not already, a passion for exercise and, you know, feeling good about yourself, doing things to make yourself feel good about yourself, and make other people around you feel good about you, like your wife or your husband or whoever it is, and this and that, you know? So that's why we take, I could go down this way. All right, I'll try this way. I haven't been down this way before, and it might be a super add-on to the walk, because it might be a dead end, and I don't know. But, okay, Scott74 says the energy will go up too, and longevity. You're doing it for some really good reasons. Forget the comments from people. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Arun sawat kontai sawadi lupao wani agak borisut rao yu changwat payao kun yu changwat alai kap. That's for the Thai people in the chat. So yeah, so I don't know. I might be going down a dead end street right now, and I may have to walk even more, which is good. You know what? That's good too. But yeah, so I'm not worried about what people say about me. If I worried about what people said about me, man, I mean, like, I would be totally screwed. I mean, I used to worry about it, you know. I grew up in a poor neighborhood in Brooklyn, you know, and, you know, I come from a mixed family. And so, like, obviously there are a lot of things people had to say, you know, this and that, from both sides, you know, all sides. It's not just two sides. It was like 3 or 4 sides, you know, from every angle, you know. And so, like, I realized that, I mean, obviously, which is a long progression, because obviously, even at the age that I am today, I still have to progress. I still have to learn. I still have to, you know, realize I don't know things and whatever. But at that age, you sort of try to figure out. It's like survival. You know, you have to survive somehow, right? You have to adapt to your environment and survive. Right? It's called adapt or survive. That's why when I came to Thailand 25 years ago, I immediately started trying to learn how to speak Thai, right? So I got a little book called Welcome to Thailand, and it had about, 25 pages in it. And the first page was how to say hello. Sawadee krap, right? So that was the first page in there, right? But it wasn't like spelled using the Thai alphabet. What it was using was phonetics. So I didn't spend any time trying to learn. I wanted to speak right away, right? So I didn't spend the time. I didn't spend the time to learn the alphabet, which I wish I had, and I can still do, obviously. But I use phonetics to learn how to speak and communicate pretty quickly. But I was also pretty young, you know. I don't know if age is a factor or not. I think I saw a study where it's not a factor. Like, if you really want to learn something, they had like a 90-year-old lady who learned how to speak 2 or 3 languages at the age of 90, or maybe she learned how to speak 1 language. Even that's amazing, right? So, yeah, no, I haven't been down this soy. Definitely haven't been down here before. The only thing I have to say about it is that we did add a little bit of length onto our walk. Not too much, but we added a little bit of length onto our walk. This dog here is what I call a Thai dog, a bangkao. This is a bangkao dog, right? I think. Normally, they're very, very territorial. And very protective. They use this guard dogs, watchdogs, native to the region and stuff like that. And he didn't look like, he had some of the traits of a bangkao dog. Anyway, there's a Thai dog, and he didn't care what was happening. He just let me walk by. I've never been bitten. In 25 years that I've been to Thailand, ผมอยู่ประเทศไทย20 ปี25 ปีแล้วไม่ค่อยกัดผมมีโชคดีมากๆ you know, so ไม่เคยget game. ผมชื่อ game. So, yeah, so dog never bit me before. But that could always happen, you know, right? You know, you put down your guard, you do the wrong thing. I was talking about this yesterday about dogs. How many out of you people out there have been bitten by a dog? Hey, Scott, have you ever been bitten by a dog? I would imagine you know about dogs and stuff like that. Okay, we made it back out to the main road. All right, so we added about, I'd say, half a kilometer to the walk, which is all right. Half a kilometer a day keeps the doctor away. Oh, yeah? Okay, so you were 9. So that's a big difference. If you get bit when you're 9 years old, you got bit, right? So if you're 9 years old, you know, that's a big difference. Number 1, you're small at that time. Number 2, you don't know what you're doing. All right, number 3, you have to be fearful. But I'm sure you know now, Sawadee krap, I'm sure you know now that, you know, to handle a dog's presences a little bit as an adult, right? So hopefully you never get bitten again. Yeah, you can read them. And the wagging tail, don't let the wagging tail fool you. You know, it depends what kind of wagging tail, what kind of wagging tail it is, you know. You know, the worst thing you can do is run, right? And I said this before. I said this before. You cannot run. You have 2 legs. It has 4 legs. Who do you think's going to win the race? You're going to catch you. Ready, cop? Going to catch you. Ready, cop? You know? And that goes the same thing for like bears, right? I mean, I had one experience with a bear, but I was inside the car, and there's no way I was opening up the door. No way. It was a black bear, and I didn't realize how big those things are. That thing's back, you know, he was walking on all 4s. Its back came up to the middle of my driver's side window. You know, I mean, I'm thinking about it. Whenever I see these videos of people petting bears or trying to pet them, I say, ooh, that is not a good idea. That is not a good idea. That thing might be hungry. You know, well, maybe he broke up with his girlfriend or something like that. He's having a bad day. I don't know, man. Scott74 says, a bear is next level. I'd never want to mess with that. Not scared, just very respectful. Yes. And I don't know about bear spray or anything like that, because I'm not in that environment and stuff like that, but I don't know if bear spray. I would not feel, I don't care what you're going to tell me about bear spray. I've never used it. I don't know if it works or anything like that. But I'm not going out there if you're going to tell me I'm going to meet a bear with bear spray. I have to have something more powerful. I'm very sorry to say that, but I'd rather not be some bear's lunch. I don't know if bear spray, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, the wind might be blowing the wrong way. Maybe you got a bear that had COVID and can't smell. I don't know. They still have teeth. Run så somebody live how? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't mess with those bears. A couple times, you ever see those bear fights? Like, I've seen a couple, like, you know, I just had to look, you know, see brown bear fights. Those brown bears, they don't fight like, let me tell you something. That's brown bear on brown bear violence, right? And they're not playing for second place. This is like a lot of times, they're not playing like loser goes home and you know, has a damaged ego. You know what I'm saying? They have a, you know, those are like street rules, you know, like you're gonna win or you're gonna die, unless somehow, by some miracle, you can surrender somehow, you know. And they have bears surrendering, you know, like they put their head down, back up, or walk away, or whatever. One walks away. I think it was the winner that walks away, actually, and the loser is like all humble and everything like that. I don't know. Scott74 probably could enlighten me a lot more about that, being from Canada, because I think they have a lot of bears up there. Anyway, we're getting up to one of my favorite, hopefully your favorite too, vistas, and that's the east-west vista, where we look out west first. We're going to take a look at west right here and just look at God's creation of a sea of green. Sea of green, total peacefulness looking like, and beautiful sky. And over the horizon of those trees is a mountain range. I don't know if you can see it. I try to zoom in because it is an overcast day. Hey, you can just see there the mountain. There's a little bit of a mountain right there in between the, in the dip in the trees and stuff like that. So that's looking west. All right, so west is looking towards Burma or Myanmar. And then, let me just walk up a little bit further and say, Arun Sawalum. East, we look east. This is our shot of east right here. And actually, I'm wrong. The sun is over there. Well, I thought I've seen the sun rise over here sometimes. But the sun is over there. So that's definitely east. Okay, that means behind me is west. And then this way would be south. Right? That would definitely be south. Southeast, east, south, something like that. And that would be north. And that makes a lot of sense because I told a story about a Chinese man who I met years and years ago. He was older than me. His name was Wilson. And in our first conversation that we had, he spoke English better than me, I think he was from Hong Kong or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, very nice man. His name was Winston. Shout out to Winston if you're out there. Thank you very much for sharing that bit of information with me. And that was, we were talking, right? And share a little bit of each other's backstory and stuff like that. And out of the blue, he says to me, that's north, right? And he points north. And I was younger at the time, right? So I was like, why? I was thinking at the time, well, why is he telling me which way is north? But the fact of the matter is that I didn't know which way north was. I didn't know until he told me. And he was like 25 years older than me or something like that. And he probably knew. I didn't know, that I was young and I didn't know which way north was. And he told me. And I'm forever grateful for that little piece of information. So you never know what kind of information people could pass on to you, that might actually have some meaning in your life. It might have some meaning in your life, And I was younger at the time, whatever, And yeah, so sharing information is always, critical to survival. I'll tell you a funny story. When I went back to New York City or Brooklyn. I went back to Brooklyn a few years back, just for a little bit. And I'd been out here for long time. I've been out in Thailand for over 20 years. And this part of Thailand here, like, nobody has like mobile phone. They have them now. Everybody has one now. But back then, like 20 years ago, like mobile phones and things like internet connection and stuff like that, they were still using dial-up. It's dial-up 20 years ago. So when I got back, right, I wanted to work, right? We can make sure I had enough credits on my Social Security and stuff like that, because when I get older, I want to make sure that I qualify for Social Security if it's still there. But that's a big if. Anyway, so I like to cook, so I'm a cook, kind of like, I don't call myself a cook. I guess we could all call ourselves cooks. I'm a cook, okay? So I got a job as a cook, and I was working for some people that are the generation younger than me, right? And like, this is right when face tattoos were like becoming like even more popular, like just becoming popular, I guess. I mean, even in the 70s, I'd seen the rare person with a face tattoo or something like that. But like, that was like in the 80s also, rare, very rare. And you just figured that person was crazy, right? But now, at that time, when I started working at the restaurant as a cook, the lady, she's a generation younger than me, nice young lady, Arun Sawat, she had a couple face tattoos. Such a pretty lady, too. I was like, man, damn, you're such a pretty lady. You put fucking tattoos on your face? Damn. But, I have tattoos on my arms and stuff like that. But, like, if I had a choice now, like, if I could go back, I wouldn't put any tattoos on me. I wasn't made to be created that way. And a tattoo doesn't signify like my clan. If I was like, so I'm like Irish, right? So if I was in Ireland 1,000 years ago, maybe that would be a reason to do it or something like that. But like, whatever. Anyway, I don't know, maybe I would have put it like a 9/11 tattoo on me because I was there at 9/11 actually. But, and I don't know. Anyway, she had a couple of face tattoos. Anyway, so the point of the story is not really that. The point of the story is this, is that like, so I'm working down in the kitchen. The kitchen was in the basement, right? It's a pizzeria. They had a coal oven and everything like that. Beautiful coal oven. And they had a nice little business going and everything. And I had a question. So it was like just before it was before the restaurant was open and stuff like that. So I went up to her. I forget what her name is, and I was like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm sorry, but can you tell me, I don't know, how to do something, right?" And she looked at me, and she said something I'd never heard before. And she said, "Look it up on Google." I was like, "What?" Look it up on Google. I was like, she was speaking a different language to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. Normally, I thought the way people communicated was they asked another person a question. Now, I'm not knocking Google or Gemini or all those things. Definitely not, because they're definitely wonderful, can be wonderful pieces of tools. Pieces of information and stuff like that to suss out information and learn things and whatever. Although I'm not thoroughly convinced it's actually a good thing in the long run, because we see a decline in cognitive abilities in younger generations. So I don't know. It's not going to be for me to figure out. I'm just trying to get to the finish line as peacefully as I can, and I have a few more years left. Arun swat ya sabari lupa. So I'm just trying to be as good a person I can be, and healthy, and Arun Sawat, healthy and respectful of as possible. So that's basically it. So Scott, I got one question for you. So we agree that a bear is next level, but what animal do you think is more dangerous than a bear? And this is kind of a joke, but it's not a joke because I'm serious. And I'll say the answer right away because I don't want to leave you thinking. And my answer to that is, the animal more dangerous than a bear is a human. No, man, lions, we have, humans are way more dangerous. Yeah, lions are dangerous, obviously, And how about Arun Swakunta? Howdy. So, Arun Swayai. Sabari lupa. Arun Swat. So, anyway, I like to. I don't know. I'll tell you something. I get like a distinct. I have to be honest. I'm going to be honest and say I get a little satisfaction every time I hear about a millionaire, billionaire trophy hunter goes out and he gets like mauled by the. It's terrible. I shouldn't laugh about that, but I get a sense of satisfaction, when I hear about that. I really do. I think that should make news more often when these trophy, like somebody's like going to try to shoot an elephant or a lion or a great ape, gorilla, or something like that. Hey, man, you were out there. You got what you had coming to you. Now, that's the way, So, I don't know. I mean, I definitely, growing up, I knew people who hunted, and they hunted, like, it seems to me like there was a lot, like at that point I was in, like, upstate New York, you know, and I mean, I was obviously smaller, so it seemed like, wow, there's like millions and millions and millions of acres of, wild land and everything like that. So, like, guys, when I was a kid, people would go out hunting. I never really had the desire. I went at once after my uncles came back from the Vietnam War, and that was in California. And what it was like, I was just a kid, right? So they had just come back, and they were crazy. Like something had happened to them. I didn't know them before the Vietnam War, but like my mother and my grandmother, and just go hang out with Chris, right? So they left me with them. And they were driving this like VW Bug, right? And what they did was, they were driving like 50 miles an hour. They put me on the hood of the Bug, of the VW, right? They put me on the hood, right? And we're driving up this like spiraling mountain road and shit like that, And I'm having a great time. I'm loving every minute of it. I had more. I still look back fondly at that. But anyway, they put this, like, I don't know, 9-10-year-old boy on the hood of their car, and they're driving up the mountain. And we get to some like prairie land, whatever, like a flat mesa or something like that. And they were ranchers, right? So the next thing I know, they take out their handguns, right? And they had their handguns. I'd never seen a handgun before. And, they like take aim, shoot something off in the distance. I hear this bang. Oh, wow, I want to try that too. Oh, wow, what are you doing? And so my Uncle Chris, he says, what we're doing is we're shooting groundhogs. He didn't call them groundhogs. What was it? Anyway, some kind of a squirrel rodent-like creature that would burrow a hole in the pasture. And what he told me was the reason why they shoot them is because cattle, and he was a rancher, cattle will walk and get their legs stuck in there and break. And once the leg breaks, then the cattle is done. Now, whether that's true or not, it sounds plausible to me and everything like that. And he gave me the handgun. And I took the handgun up and I raised it up, and I saw that little squirrel, whatever it was. And I took aim and I pulled the trigger, right? And I was like 9-10 years old, and I hit it. And I looked up to my uncle. I said, "Well, why isn't he running away? Why isn't he running away?" He said, "No, that's it. You killed it. You did it. You killed it. You did a good job. You did a good job, son." And I thought at that moment, I said, "I killed it. It's dead." You mean, you know what I mean? Like, I had to absorb that. And after that, like, I really had no, desire. I gave him back the gun, or he took back the gun, or whatever. I don't remember, whatever. But like, I wasn't gonna shoot any more groundhogs or whatever they were, chipmunks or squirrels or whatever like that. I was like, man, and I felt bad. I still feel bad, 45 years later, Anyway, so that's my story about hunting. Well, at least that was one story about hunting. I have other stories about hunting, but I guess the greatest movie of sort of hunting of all time is The Deer Hunter. I don't know if Scott, have you ever seen The Deer Hunter? Anybody out there seen The Deer Hunter? What a great movie. Oh my God. I mean, that's gotta be up there. I tell you right? Unbelievable, man. That was a crazy movie, and I don't think anybody who saw that movie when it came out, like, ever forgot that movie. Right? You know, I don't think you're gonna forget that. You know, how can you? As one of there's things you can't unsee. You know, it's right dark though, right? Exactly. But that's what I mean. It's one of those things you can't unsee, like when you see your first dead body. You know, you're gonna. Another movie. Now, this one was I don't know if it was I don't. It was definitely not as popular, but it was with Michael J. Fox, and that was called Casualties of War. Man, I cried in that movie like you can't. Oh wow! I don't want to watch it again because I'll cry again. Casualties of War. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It is so sad. You know. Oh my goodness. And you know that like changed me. Also, you know, that movie actually, in some of my perceptions and stuff like that. You know, like or solidified, I should say. You know, because wow, I saw that movie. I mean, that was something else, man. Nah, I mean that's something. Whew. I still even get like a lump in my throat when I think about that. Of course, then there was Platoon, which is a great movie. But I would say Casualties of War was more of a masterpiece in a different way, I guess. Yeah. I mean, and supposedly the Casualties of War was a true story. I don't know if it was like it had anything to do with the My Lai massacre or anything like that. But sometimes I think about that, like, you know, I think about that when I look out at these rice fields here, because like I do rice farming and stuff like that. And I think about like, you know, because I had time to think, you know, I'm out there, the rice field is a very vast expanse thing. And I start thinking about like, wow, what are these soldiers just landing here, coming across the rice paddy and stuff like that? I know they would not know what hit them, you know? Like, you're going to have a very small chance of survival. First of all, walking through a rice paddy is not the best cover, right? To be honest with you, you know, it's not like the best way to like conceal yourself. It's like being out on an open range, you know. Secondly, the people who live, the population, they know every square inch of the territory. I mean, you're at a huge disadvantage. And I've had the opportunity to speak with a lot of Vietnam veterans over the years, not so much anymore because unfortunately, just like every generation, they get fewer and fewer. And, you know, I'm not saying the Vietnam War is a good thing, and definitely not. It's a bad thing. And if you ask any of the veterans, they would say that's the same thing, you know. What I am saying is it's just, you know, a generation of people who went through hell. And anyway, so there are a lot of Vietnam vets that lived in Thailand or still live in Thailand, and they've like been back to the United States since the Vietnam War. They've been maybe one or two times. I knew one of these guys. His name was Chuck Andre, and funny enough, he was a cook. He was a cook for the Army, and yeah, he said once he got over, he said, fuck it, I'm never going back, you know. And I think he went back like once or twice in the stories that he told me. He's since passed from cancer. He called me from the hospital. He's like, and I feel bad because he wanted me to come see him, right? But the thing is that I was like really far away, you know. Anyway, we had good experiences together, and certainly enjoyed sharing a piece of my life with him, and definitely left me a better person, you know. Anyway, so here's the object of the morning. I don't know if you can see it, but if you look over here, I'm gonna zoom in just so you can see it, right? You see that tree, that tree up there? It looks like a flag. It's not a flag, it's a tree that's growing out of the top of a water tower. I don't know, one of these days, the city will get, you know, around to removing it. But incidentally, that's the water tower that gives the water to like the nursery and school that's right there. I doubt. I mean, the tree will probably actually purify the water. You know, who knows? Anyway, I really want to thank every single one of you for sharing this moment in time on this planet with me and this walk and everything like that. It gives me the inspiration, motivation to continue on, and give me, also you guys give me the opportunity to speak English, which I don't really have that so much here, and also hear feedback from you guys and gals. Love you all so much. God bless. May you have the most wonderful and blessed day and enjoy good health and happiness. And I'll say it is, have a good morning, noon, and good night.